Rachel True has a really private life. She doesn't speak much about any of her life. It's rare to find any information out there about her, and she also hasn't had any public relationships. She is the definition of moving in silence and being extremely low-key. For those of you who do not know her, she was a 90s icon in early 2000s who just paved the way for a lot of black girls also, who made her own lane. She was one of the first black teen girls to play a witch on screen, where she got the role that was meant for a white girl, but she fought for it, okay? She fought for the role and she created her own lane. I love her from Half and Half. That's one of my favorite shows. It is so entertaining and so funny. Comment below, when were you first introduced to Rachel True? And for those of you who do not know who she is, Rachel India True, born on November 15, 1966, is an American actress who is best known for her roles in such films as The Craft, Nowhere, and Half Baked with Dave Chappelle. True is also known for her role as Mona Thorne on the UPN sitcom Half and Half, which ran from 2002 to 2006. In today's video, we'll break down her iconic hair. Of course, she was a style and beauty icon for a lot of black girls during the 90s and early 2000s. And the hair, honey, the hair. She gives all of the details of how she keeps that up. And if you guys haven't seen Rachel True lately, she looks the exact same, literally the exact same. It doesn't look like she aged a day at all, okay? So a lot of people want to know, what is her beauty secrets? How does she stay so young, okay? So we are going to get into that, the beauty secrets, the hair secrets, as well as her interest in the occult and her not marrying or having children and just living a very private life. I know many people want to know where Rachel True is now. But before we get into all that, hey friend, welcome to my channel, Karinealourde, where we deep dive and break down the most iconic stars through history. If you're not yet subscribed, please be sure to do so. And if you're already subscribed, please be sure to turn on your notification bell so you never miss an upload. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. Let's start with her beauty secrets. Rachel True said the key to her look is actually her clean diet, right? She revealed that she abstains from alcohol. She never has any alcohol, and she avoids sugar as much as possible. And she also does not eat meat, and she avoids drugs and substances to make sure her black doesn't crack. She said on Twitter, and I quote, "So many people DM me on Instagram about how to age okay, and I don't know, but for me, almost no alcohol, some sort of exercise, no meat, lots of lemon, plus a lot of H2O, no hard drug use, plus maple syrup, not white sugar, veggies, know your angles and lighting. Did I mention keep the body and mind moving?" End quote.
I'm somebody who struggled with my weight my whole life. My thing, like a lot of people's things, was I've had a really hard day, so I deserve this piece of cheesecake, or I deserve this whatever. And usually it's food that we reward ourselves with. So I had to tackle, why was I eating the foods I was? Why was I craving them? If you keep eating a standard American diet full of foods that inflame your body and you have allergies to it and are made up of stuff that our bodies can't digest, you might gain the weight back. Because if I just ate the same foods a lot of people ate, I seem to gain weight like a crazy person. A lot of these foods are designed to make you overeat. The foods made my body overweight and inflamed. I wanted to feel awesome in my body at any age. I gave up, dairy and wheat and all these foods that I loved because I saw the effect that they had on my body. If I take care of my body, I don't have to look 107.
Yeah, she really hasn't aged a day. She looks the same. I love to see it. So you can tell she really takes care of her body and lives by what she says. Now, when it comes to her hair was on probably a lot of natural hair girlies vision board or Pinterest board from the 90s, aesthetics, always full, very healthy, even up until now. So she has her recommendations. She was known for her luscious curls. She recommends olive oil. She told theblackdoctor.org that, and I quote, "I keep some in the shower once a week-ish, leave it in for a few hours on your hair, and then shampoo it out. If you're in the money, I love Kerastase, but it's too expensive. Aubrey Organics GPB conditioner, I've used it forever. Their website is full of comments from me. Pure shea butter." Another recommendation from her is a good leave-in conditioner. She said, "I even leave GPB in, and a good gel helps define. Sometimes I wet my hair in showers or just in the sink with hands, run conditioner through it and leave it, but shampoo rarely as it's so dry here in California." Now, when it comes to her fashion sense, she has a very quirky fashion sense. She has a similar style to that of Scary Spice. A lot of people confuse her to Scary Spice, and even in one of the episodes on Half and Half, she made fun of that because it's the hair and the fashion, you know, kind of that quirky goth look. She loved the platform boots at the time, along with denim mini skirts, graphic prints, and big old sleeves. She also loved duster jackets, sheer layers, and so many gorgeous crochet pieces. She had an earthy but sometimes goth look to her. She always dressed like she dressed in real life, like her characters dressed like she dressed in real life. The styles were always very similar. Now, when it comes to her interests, Rachel has been a lover of the supernatural since childhood, and she received her first tarot reading as a teenager before acquiring a deck of her own.
Well, I was always really into tarot. I think I got a deck when I was a young teenager, and I was just sort of fascinated with the archetypes and the things that were on the cards, and I was very much into mythology too. So I really delved into studying hardcore tarot and, you know, just how to utilize it for practical everyday life.
She said, and I quote, "The year before I read for The Craft, the movie The Craft, had been slow, so I really delved deep into esoteric studies and learning tarot. When the script came up, I definitely put a lot of mental energy into it, trying to manifest that part for myself. I just knew the role was perfect for me. After I did the screen test, I get home and there's a huge basket from the studio on my doorstep with tarot cards and different witch-themed stuff. I was like, whoa, that's a good sign, right? I don't know. Then the power in my apartment went off. It was off all night. I can't remember if it was just a power outage or if I hadn't paid the bill or what, but I remember going, oh my God, my power is off in the universe. I'm a Scorpio, so even when I was a little kid, I was drawn to esoteric things. I always wanted to be a fortune teller for Halloween. I was interested in figuring out what we are, why are we here, and why we think the way that we do. My father is English and Eastern European, and his grandmother was a gypsy, so I feel like it's in my blood," end quote. It was pretty interesting to know. Comment below your thoughts about it. I would have thought it was creepy because if you guys don't know, the movie The Craft that she was just talking about auditioning for, and we're going to talk more about that movie later on in the video, is actually a movie where she plays a witch in it. She's one of the black witches in there, where I would have found it extremely creepy that the minute I get the role, then I get this basket from y'all with all this stuff and my power goes off and all of that. You know, that's just me. I don't mess with that stuff. You already know where I stand with that. But comment below your thoughts. That's her interest. And right now, she does readings for people. Now let's hop into her childhood real quick. Rachel was born in New York City, the middle of 3 children. Her father is Ashkenazi Jewish descent, and her mother is of African American heritage. Her younger sister, Noelle, is also an actress. True attended New York University. In an interview with the Lenny Letter, she said of her childhood, and I quote, "My parents split up pretty much as I was being born. After that, they both took off and did different things. So my brother and I were in foster care until I was 4 years old. When my dad came and got us, people don't know this about me, but I feel really lucky to have ended up with a primary parent at a certain point." She continued by saying, "I was sort of mixed up middle class. My parents moved to upstate New York when I was about 11, and I went to an all-white kindergarten through 12th grade. The whole Tri-County area was all white except me, my mother, and my stepmom. My brother sucked at basketball and I was awful at track, so they were just really disappointed in us. On another level, it freaked them out because we were smart. I got the highest SAT scores the school had ever gotten, and they weren't that high. They were disappointed that this interloper had come in and outdone them. I lived there during one of its most dangerous periods in the late 70s and early 80s, but we still walked to school by ourselves, took the subway, and went to the Met. Being introduced to things like that as a young child definitely sparked my creative side," end quote. Now, in terms of her career, she was interested in acting from a young age. In the Lenny Letter, she said, and I quote, "My father was an antiques dealer and my stepmother was an actress. Some of my earliest memories are of standing in the back of the theater while she was rehearsing. When she was on stage, it amazed me that she could become another person when she was in character. It was fascinating. It made me realize that I wanted to act." But True faced a lot of prejudice in the beginning of her acting career. She said, and I quote, "It was incredibly racist up there. I felt like that made me who I am today and really strengthened my fortitude. I remember trying out for the miracle worker at our local theater group. I wanted to be one of the blind girls. The other girls in the group said, 'No, you have to be the housekeeper's daughter. No, you can't be a blind girl because they're white.' So I quit, and when I got home, I told my stepmother, I guess I'm going to have to write my own roles because I can't stand for this, end quote. True made her television debut in 1991 on the episode Theo's Final Final of The Cosby Show. Later, she moved to Los Angeles and made appearances on Beverly Hills 90210, Getting By, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Dream On. In 1993, True appeared in the feature film CB4 after appearing in the horror film Embrace of the Vampire. She had a breakthrough role as Rochelle in the 1996 film The Craft, where she played a member of a teenage coven. But there was some discrimination there. When it was time to do like the press junket, they wouldn't include her, and she was the only black character. But she said one of her castmates did speak up for her, and then they started to include her in it. And then also when they were thinking about doing a reboot and stuff like that, they didn't even include her in it. So she has spoken out quite a bit.
I heard that the role wasn't actually intended for you. They were trying to get another white lead.
They did, like, I know it sounds weird now, but like back then it was sort of like, here's a black movie and it's usually like about someone in the hood, and here's a white movie over there. They were very separate. So when I read for that, so I called my agents and I said, would you get me in on this? And they were like, no, you're too old. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. If anyone's gonna be a little black witch in this town, it's me. And they had sort of opened it up, but they weren't sure if they were gonna go ethnic. And I'm glad they did, because so very many young ethnic girls of all backgrounds have come up to me and said it was just amazing that someone who kind of sort of looked like me was in that group and in that movie.
From 2002 to 2006, True starred with Essence Atkins in the UPN comedy series Half and Half as paternal half-sisters who barely knew each other until becoming adults. And although the show is the second most watched series on UPN next to Girlfriends, the show was brought to an abrupt end and left many viewers with a major cliffhanger. But Netflix purchased the rights to the show, and you can stream it on Netflix, although the actors wouldn't be making much money from our streams anyway. Rachel recently made headlines after she told fans that she does not receive much residuals from the mid-2000s sitcom she starred in. When responding to a fan who asked for Half and Half on Blu-ray, she said what she wanted were residuals. She revealed that she didn't know she was signing a contract that didn't guarantee her a satisfactory income from the sitcom being syndicated, and that she receives very, very little a year. Some of my castmates and their agents negotiated better residual deals. Know what you're signing, artists. Won't make that mistake again. Smiley face, end quote. This was a tweet that she tweeted. And in 2017, True worked as a tarot card reader in Echo Park. And now in terms of her dating life, the American actress has never been in a public relationship, and it seems she prefers to keep her love life private. True is humbly living a quiet life away from the public limelight, making fans continue to wonder, who is she dating? Who is she talking to? Does she have kids? Is she married? For all we know, she might be married and we just don't know. But a lot of people speculate that her not having a relationship is why she looks so youthful, okay? She has no stress in her life from that. She don't got to worry about nothing. And she's just getting younger and younger. She looks really good. Like, she aged really well. Like, she found the fountain of youth. So this is all I have for this video. Short and sweet, I know. Comment below who else would you guys like to know from the 90s era. Also comment below anyone else you guys would like me to add to my list. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in.